Hi everyone and welcome to this new video case study for Liveblocks. My name is Emmanuel, I'm a developer relation engineer at Liveblocks. Here I am today with Grant Custer, engineer at Sprout. Hi Grant, thank you very much for being here with us today.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Could you please introduce yourself in a few words, please?
Yeah, so I'm Grant. I'm an engineer at Sprout. General interests in kind of experimental, interesting web apps.
Thank you, Grant. So let's talk a bit about Sprout. What is Sprout?
Sure. So Sprout, it's web app where you can create a virtual space to meet and chat with your friends. So it's an interesting kind of combination of spatial. You create these blocks, you can type text, you can move it around, and kind of have chats through that. Then we also have video presence. So everything's multiplayer by default. You can go in, you can make text blocks, you can make image blocks, you can search for images, and you'll see other people's cursors in that room with you. And then we also have a video component, so you can have the see people's faces as well. So yeah, you can do a lot of things with it. You can have your meetings with it. You can also hang out with friends in that. And as I'm sure we'll get into, like partly thanks to Liveblocks, the stuff you make in there stays there, so you can return to it later. And it's this nice hybrid of documentation and also live meetings. That's interesting.
That's great. That's great. So let's go to the interview now. So why did you and your team choose Liveblocks?
So Sprout has an interesting history. So I joined the project in November, which was also about the time we switched to Liveblocks. We have been using a service called Room Service.
Okay.
That's broadly similar, but they were, I think, pivoting. They are no longer supporting their library. So I was not involved in I came in at the end of the transition, whereas I think people on the team had talked to Liveblocks and sort of got the info about how to switch, and so they were just completing that transition to Liveblocks as I was joining up. And yeah, I think it was a funny time to come in, and I definitely transitioning from one service to another can be a pretty tough process at times, but that actually went very smoothly from what I saw, and Liveblocks was very helpful in helping us transition things over and get things all set up and get going.
That,
Um,
that's great. So, other than a room service, did you use or tried other collaborative solutions like YGS or other competitors?
no, yep, there was some discussion of it, or should we try our own? Of course, but so one of the huge benefits of Liveblocks has been how much it's allowed us to focus on features for the app rather than those like CRDT
Yeah,
multiplayer type processes. So we were very into that idea, and that's Liveblocks seemed the best fit in terms of making the transition easy and making us having us be able to focus on new features.
yeah. So, if I understand, making your app multiplayer with Liveblocks was an easy task. How much effort did it took to transition with Liveblocks?
It's hard to quantify. I
Yeah,
mean, it was a process. It's definitely, and it also, had to do with some team members, some folks leaving, so the knowledge on the team was in a different state. But it went better than I expected. I think it, all told, took a month to get all the way over, which is, yeah, really pretty good. Yeah, and I was surprised. Yeah, I was surprised how much not that all the APIs matched up completely, but the general model was
yeah.
was similar, and that went pretty well.
Okay, so can you tell us more about your application architecture?
So it's a React app, Next.js framework at this point. A React app, and yeah, Liveblocks is really our kind of our application state, most of it for rooms, and that's worked. It's played nicely with React. There's adjustments. It's obviously an adjustment to just being a multiplayer app, and you sort of have to think differently about how you're going to structure stuff. Liveblocks has made that a lot easier than it otherwise would be, especially the storage API, so the blocks are the individual
Mm.
items in Sprout, and that maps really well. Sort of React, we have a component that takes the block state and
Mhm.
it flows down, and we update that block state through Liveblocks, and it's immediately on everybody's screen that's using the app. So that helps a lot. Yeah, it's been evolving. We use React, we use Jotai a little bit for state management,
Okay.
and I've sort of been working through, I don't know, working through the usual React, like how do we want to structure our state stuff with some of that. But
Okay, so if I understand, you use Liveblocks to persist data using the storage block, right?
yep,
Okay,
yep.
that's
And
great.
then the presence for the more temporary stuff,
Yeah. So
cursors and video and stuff.
in our users we have a lot of people that only use Liveblocks for the collaborative part, and then the persist data on their data store. And
Mm.
with storage blocks, you can keep data if you want on Liveblocks. So that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah, it's helpful. I don't know. We have some of it, like we have a user database.
Yeah, of
We
course.
have some database stuff as well, but um, for the rooms, yeah, it's through Liveblocks.
What do you think about Liveblocks real-time performances?
We've been happy with it. This is my first sustained experience with like a multiplayer app,
Yeah,
and so as you know, it's really taken off lately. I think of Figma definitely. Yeah, we've been totally happy with it. In terms of response times, seeing what the other person's doing, it's been good.
great. So the next question is, did you have the time or the opportunity to measure the impact of Liveblocks on your customers and or your business?
Yeah, we don't have the control case comparison really, because we've
Yes.
been using Liveblocks. So yeah, like I said, we've been happy with how it's performed and how it's let us focus on other things. But it's can't really imagine the app without the multiplayer experience. So
How was your experience you interacting with the Liveblocks team as you were implementing multiplayer features with the product? So,
yeah, they've been great. They've been super responsive. And it's been interesting for me to learn more about some of the background issues with like running this sort of thing. I've often been like reluctant to rely on outside services, but the team's been super helpful in terms of tracking stuff down that's going wrong or offering some advice on how to structure things. They helped us with that transition over to the API. So it's been good.
so we are at the end of the interview. The last question will be: is there anything you want to add or request, like a feature request, something you wish you knew when you started, or what's the number one thing you want to add on Liveblocks?
Ah, good question.
Mm,
I think, I mean, we're always giving you all like sort of small API changes, which you've also been responsive to and is nice. I think so. Undo redo
yeah,
is around.
yeah.
We haven't implemented it yet. I think, yeah.
In fact, we we are developing multiple undo redo because I know that Guillaume is working on it. So what's really nice about multiple in the redo is like you can undo some actions based on who is the author of the action. If you create two square, for example, in a design tool, if user A do something, user B do something, and user A undo the action, which one will be erased?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the kind of challenges that they are facing today, and undo redo is working great. It's going out very soon.
Cool. Yeah, there was a version around and it gets so complex. Um, so there's a piece of it where we need to, on our side, just sort of like, yeah, understand, think through what the experience should be and how to match people's expectations. And also maybe, yeah, which events we're sending in what way to make sure it all works. Um, But that's like general multiplayer
Yeah.
stuff. I'm like undo, redo. We also have some text blocks.
Mhm.
And so like collaborative text editing with two cursors or multiple cursors,
Yeah.
Google Doc style. Like to figure out again, I'd love for Liveblocks to make that as easy as possible. I haven't dug into it enough to know how much we could do on our
Yeah.
end. Yeah, like how it would all play out.
Effectively, we don't fully support CRDT text data
Right.
structures, but I'm sure it will come in the next months. I know that text CRDT will be a tough part of the API, but I hope it will come very soon. Thank you again, Grant, for your time. You give us very useful insight about what you are doing with Liveblocks for Sprout. I hope you will like this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, Grant, and bye,
All right.
everyone.
Thank you.